Hi guys, this is Divine Irony from Ghostons EU for the second boss in the Icecrown Citadel 10-man, Lady Deathwhisper. We're going to be talking about the general strategy and some of her abilities that are most at note during this fight. Okay, let us go. You will need 2 tanks for this fight, a mix of melee and ranged DPS, and around 3 healers. Yes, I would say if you're doing it for the first time or coming in, do 3 healers until you're comfortable, or you feel like 2 healers is enough for you and you've got skilled healers. Okay, now Lady Deathwhisper has 2 phases. In phase 1, she's completely protected by a mana shield, which heals all damage done to her, but she has no method of regaining mana, so when her mana reaches 0, she will lose the shield and turn into phase 2. During phase 1, she will cast Shadow Bolts, which deal around 9 to 12k damage to random players, because she has no aggro during this fight, so she will hit almost anyone. The other ability she does on 10-man is Death and Decay, where she will target a random player and put a Death and Decay underneath their feet. You must jump out of this Death and Decay because it does around 5k damage per 1 second. There's no reason to stand in it. If you can't see the Death and Decay, turn your spell detail up in order to see it properly. Okay, now I would suggest actually having all ranged DPS attack the boss, and all melee DPS go on the ads. Now there is 2 alternative strategies, but I found the best method of dealing with it is to get phase 1 down as quickly as possible to try and get into phase 2, which is much easier. Now every 5 seconds of combat and every 60 seconds thereafter, she will summon a wave of ads, which will be she will summon around let's see, she will summon 2 cult adherents and 1 cult fanatic, or 2 cult fanatics and 1 cult adherents. Now all of these abilities can be crowd controlled and snared, so if you want to use a sheep or a hunter's trap, perfectly fine. If you're feeling you're not comfortable tanking all of these mobs at once, perfectly fine to do it this way. Now the adherents and fanatics have very annoying abilities. The fanatics cannot be hurt by well, never mind. Let's just work this out. Lady Deathwhisper will randomly empower adherents and transform fanatics throughout the fight. These empowered such deformed ads are priority kill in targets, especially if she empowers a fanatic. The fanatic will turn into this little blubby beast, who will do a ridiculous amount of damage and do a cleave. This is why fanatics should be your #1 DPS priority, because these mobs hurt. They can only be tanked. All your range will actually have to go onto this deformed fanatic, because they'll hit too hard for your melee DPS to handle because of their cleave. Adherents, when they're empowered, will become very dangerous AoE damage casters. If they are empowered, make sure all your melee go immediately onto them. If you're wondering, guys, you can't interrupt them because the Lady Deathwhisper will empower them, making them unable to be interrupted, which is really annoying. The best way of handling the ads is to make sure the physical DPS are all on the adherents. After the fanatics are down, kill all fanatics first, and then kill the adherents. They randomly put some kind of shield up, which makes them immune from spell damage, melee damage. The adherents. It doesn't last forever, so just keep pounding through them until you manage to get them down. Now, once she gets to phase... one more second, guys. She will also sometimes, when some of the mobs die, she will summon them again as a undead one. Now, they are slightly easier to kill than the living ones, so do the same thing again. Kill the fanatics first, and then kill the adherents. And I don't think you can interrupt them being raised as undead. Okay, Lady Deathwhisper becomes much easier in phase 2. Okay, phase 2 comes along, complete aggro wipe, so make sure your range DPS lay off a bit and stop doing any aggro. Make sure one of your tanks picks up Lady Deathwhisper quickly and starts pumping aggro into the target. Now she no longer casts Shadowbolt, she will now cast Frostbolt on primary aggro target, which is usually the tank. Now the Frostbolt does a lot of damage, so let's see how much it does. On 10 man it does 37,000 frost damage to an enemy and reduces his movement speed by 50%. This is possible to be healed through. What you want to do is have a melee DPS that can interrupt the target. You only need one interrupter in order to successfully interrupt the Frostbolt. So just make sure one of your melee DPS goes from the ads if the ads are still up. Kill all the ads first, by the way, before going on to the boss. But make sure one of your melee goes onto the boss, starts interrupting immediately, and make sure the Frostbolt doesn't do too much damage. She will also use an ability called Frostbolt Volley, which will deal around 12k damage to all enemies, so make sure your healers are capable of healing up the group very quickly. And the only other ability he will do, I think, is Summon Vengeful Shade, which will call an unattackable Vengeful Shade that will cast Vengeful Blast on the target, dealing 18k damage. If you are chosen by the Vengeful Shade, run away from it. You can't run away from it, and run it away from the group, because it does damage in an AoE effect, not just on you. And the other ability, which means this is why you need two tanks, she reduces the target's threat generation by 20%, and this stacks up to 5 seconds. So once you get something like 3-4 switch targets and just keep doing it, the buffs go off you after about 30 seconds, so you should have at least a tank capable of keeping aggro. And that's basically the fight, guys. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you liked it, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye bye, guys.